My thought is that it's very sad that instead of celebrating 63rd independence anniversary of Nigeria, flying in colors of white, meaning peace, and green, meaning agriculture and vegetation, we are busy trying to unearth whether our leader is a female or a male. Because physiologically and anatomically, we are seeing a male. But by documents, we are seeing a female. What an international embarrassment.
Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, the former Minister of Education, don't answer Tinubu in respect of the forged certificates. For her post for X, she can write, say, how so much easier it would have been for Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. She not address him as president too. She said for Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu to have saved the country and people the embarrassment of his Chicago State University court case by instantly and voluntarily asking the institution to publish its academic credentials. How difficult could that have been? How so less traumatic for exemplary disclosure to remove all doubts would have been for Nigerians. Like most Nigerians, it is profoundly embarrassing to field mocking questions on this matter that strike at the heart of our national integrity from foreigners. She can further talk, say, our public leaders of a certain genre despise transparency, and yet it is an antidote to fiascos like this one. As citizen, at the end of the 2023 electoral process that follows the judgment by the Nigerian Supreme Court, our work is to cut out for us to uncompromisingly demand the roots and branch reform of the entire electoral and judicial system. This is a must-do.
Highlighting reactions trailing the release of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Chicago State University certificate presented to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's legal team on Monday. The documents released include Tinubu's admission records and a letter dated June 27, 2022, confirming that Tinubu attended the university from August 1977 to June 1979 and majored in accounting. The letter also affirmed that Tinubu was awarded a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration with honors on June 22, 1979. CSU also granted 3 of Atiku's 4 requests, including copies of 7 different certificates for the Bachelor of Science degree it issued in 1979, but was, however, unable to locate a copy of the original diploma it prepared for Tinubu in 1979. The documents went viral on social media, with supporters of Atiku Abubakar and Tinubu sharing their opinion. Let's take some tweets. Now, this is from SAN Festus Keyamo. He wrote, "It is now obvious that the loss of Atiku Abubakar at the last polls hurt him deeply more than all his previous losses put together. It has since sent him spinning like a drunkard, lashing out to hold on to every single straw that resembles a lifeline. This is bad for his health. He should accept that his game is over, as the Chicago State University responses have shown, and retire peacefully to his famed abode. Those around him have a role to play in this." Well, CSU also confirmed that Tinubu graduated from Government College, Lagos. Let's take this reaction from Babatunde Gbadamosi. He was a former Lagos State gubernatorial candidate, correct? Well, all right, he wrote, "I attended GCL from 1978 to 1981. My auntie was the vice principal for at least one of those years. I can confirm that I witnessed the graduation of the first set in 1979. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was definitely not among them. By pure coincidence, the late Jide Tinubu was my classmate at Lagos State School of Basic Studies. I could not possibly have been just 4 years the junior of his father in secondary school. Could I? Well, David Hude in response also wrote, also, Government College Lagos was founded in 1974. So whoever claimed to have graduated from there in 1970 was clearly lying. I reported all of this since November, by the way. Well, another Twitter user posted a video of Tinubu where he boasted that he was one of the most recruited students at the university with the caption, "We'll show them our first-class degree. There's nothing to hide." Let's take a look.
I was one of those most recruited graduates of my university, multiple honors, first-class degree. And I have a reference point. Those people are there. People have nothing to offer but questions and creating doubts.
All right, Rufai, yesterday we saw Peter Obi flaunting his credentials. Now we see Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I mean, Chicago State University did confirm that he graduated with honors. I guess this puts that story to rest, but I think that the main issue was the fact that they were able to provide 7 different certificates that were issued in 1979 and were unable to issue President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's certificate.
So, I mean, there's a lot of narrative, so the discrepancy, just go on with the release. Southwest College, for instance, it shows that the person that did this in Southwest was a female. The academic record shows variations in the date of birth. Either so the date was 1952, now we're seeing 1954, and it just goes on and on. For instance, look at the one they talked about, the college in... that he graduated in 1970, and the Lagos College, the Government College Lagos was not even founded in 1970. And, so much discrepancies as regards, all of this process. But it's a reflection of the kind of society, hence my point again about morality.
If you read Rufai body language, you will not say it was indirectly referring to Dr. Batty. Before now, there has been an argument when Rufai talks, say, in fact, morality is a law. He said for those who talks to not be law, in opposite of it defender, it was actually referring to Dr. Batty. So there has been an argument. Dr. Batty was arguing and say, even first year students know, say, it's not a law. It's based on proceedings. It's based on this. It's based on that. So the argument was really, really strong of them to the extent Ayo had to come in and join Rufai in the old discussion that yes, morality plays a big role in the society. In regards to this, a lot of people not happy with Dr. Batty for waiting he talk for this matter. He talk say, why they all of the young come focus on Tinubu? Not be Mohbad again. They should be talking about the devaluation of the naira. They should be talking about this. They should be talking about that. May they know your put. So a lot of people were like, what's wrong with this man? Is something going on that we don't know about? Wait till they sub for you. Why this man just they like, this is what's trending, and this matter don't they for ground for many years, over 20 years. I mean, if we can't see the end of this whole thing, I mean, it's something that we are redressing about since Bola Ahmed Tinubu says he wants to fight corruption. I mean, let the corruption start from himself. So this was what we're expecting that Dr. Obasi should say. But instead, they talk saying Nigeria should focus on more better things and not be saying that you carry Bola Ahmed Tinubu matter for head. So based on that morality, both of them they argue like really, really strong arguments.
But for me, what I've always reiterated is the morality of the issue. The fact that it shouldn't be a big deal for somebody that is serving the highest office in the country to be able to allow the certificates to be released. It's not a big deal because there's a level of integrity. And for those that say, yes, make the argument morality is not law, I just hope they can stand a highly immoral society when it starts to hit them. Because an highly immoral society is a reflection of a society where there's a complete breakdown of law of honor, order. And when there's a complete breakdown of law and order, anything can happen. In the words of Donald Trump, I can shoot somebody down on Fifth Avenue and nothing will happen. So that means people can commit egregious crimes. And that's not the kind of society we want. So we still need to make that argument for morality. as people also make the argument for legalese. And it also has to be said, the school talked about the fact that they cannot locate the certificate. I've been able to ask around. Normally what is said is that once one certificate is issued and that's just it, and that what you will get afterwards if you lose it is a replacement certificate. And that's what Mr. Tinubu claimed in his deposition to INEC, that he swore under oath. But all of these are interesting times for Nigeria. So there are more questions that will be asked. Why the female there? He's argued that it was clerical error. Whose social security number is that? There's more investigation that needs to be made. Why the discrepancies and the variations in the paper put forward? One thing is certain, this conundrum will continue for a while until we are able to get logical conclusion by both legal team, making due interpretations. But we must have a society where everything is laid bare on the table.
Right. Okay, let me start with this. I've been making the argument here that emotions and morality have no place in law. It is what they teach 100 level law students when they teach introduction to law or they teach legal methods. Your teachers will warn you, don't come and write literature here. The law is what it is. So lawyers don't moralize. They follow the rules, they follow the principles, they follow substantive law. And if you are in court, you follow procedural law. But substantive law is superior in most instances to procedural law. These are basic principles that any elementary student of law will understand. However, there's a principle called open justice. The principle of open justice, in the explanations, in the literature, says that, look, for you to have justice, yes, you can, pay attention within the open forum to personal opinions of people. And that is why you have this justification. Everybody is now, commenting on different aspects of it. Because what is the purpose of the law? The purpose of the law is to modulate society and to, ensure the progress of society under the rule of law, so that you don't have a Hobbesian system. So that participation, that's why people can review cases, review statements from the court of law. Okay, all of a sudden, I even find all of this very suspicious. Where all of us are running after a certificate, which grade, which this, and all of that. Major issues of the day have been abandoned. The naira to the dollar now is over 1,000 naira. Many parents are already withdrawing their students from schools abroad. There is a strike that Labour promised that has not happened. We've now been told that we should wait while we continue to deal with the crisis that we're talking about. Even the issue about Mohbad, that everybody, including superstars in Nollywood and elsewhere, got involved in. Nobody is talking about Mohbad now. Everybody is looking for Tinubu's certificate. Tinubu's certificate. It's a comment on the state of our nation. That sometimes we get distracted. We don't focus on the big issues. We don't, concentrate on things that matter.
All right, just a few comments with regards to this particular matter. One of the things I must say is that even going from the fact that the judge gave an order, 12 noon yesterday, Chicago time, CSU must release the records, and was obeyed. It's small but significant. I say this because Dr. Batiyo talked about the fact that institutions in other parts of the world, at least in countries like the United States of America, are strengthened such that when the rule of law is obeyed. We have many orders by different courts in Nigeria, even at presidential level, where an order is given and it is dishonored or disrespected based on the will of the person who is in charge then. We even had a recent case in court where two agencies, security agencies, came to fisticuffs, almost fisticuffs, over the former CBN immediate past CBN governor. And so there are questions around that, and that's why sometimes people feel more confident in courts outside the shores of Nigeria. That speaks very powerfully, and it talks about the fact that if we must build a nation that will thrive, we must build our institutions, especially the judiciary. It's been said, that phrase has been trending, all eyes on the judiciary, all eyes on the judiciary. We must build our institutions. We must have confidence and faith in institutions, and we must obey the rule of law, which I emphasize again, this particular administration has said they were going to adhere to. I just wanted to point that out because it was refreshing to see that an order is made by a court, and it is almost unheard of, or it's almost unthinkable to imagine that it would not be followed. That's on one hand. Now, with regards to the other matters as to the discoveries that have been made, some of the questions that come out for me would be, yes, there are some discrepancies, especially in the process to getting President Bola Tinubu into university. But will that count? Because I believe the issue on ground is a certificate that he submitted to INEC, and that is the diploma he got from CSU, which to a very large extent has been authenticated by the university. However, we must wait for the depositions today to see perhaps the questions that CSU has to answer. The questions around the logo, the questions around the signatories and signature, the questions around, the certificates by other students, but not this particular certificate. So a few other things. So this matter is not by any means, has not by any means come to an end. There are still questions. It opens even more, and then the real work can begin. Now, the question as to whether it will be admitted in the Supreme Court has been argued a number of times. But I think beyond the ruling of the courts, yes, law is not morality. However, it speaks greatly of the kind of nation that we're building. And as we're, in the conversation yesterday, we're talking about the fact that it also speaks to what the younger generation have to look forward to. I had cited the example of the JAM, fiasco, and the fact that we want to build a nation that is credible. The president has done a lot when it comes to foreign policy. In fact, he's said to be one of the most traveled presidents in the first 100 days in office. If we're going to be pushing out and promoting the image of the nation, we must start first of all by putting a stance that, number one, we're a credible nation. The leaders who are in power are credible and are there through a credible process, certificates, everything authenticated. And then, of course, that corruption is being deliberately and obviously being fought against. These are some of the issues that we must look beyond just a court ruling, is the state of the nation, so that we do not become a laughing stock on the international scene. We keep talking about us, Nigeria being the giant of Africa. And in all ramifications, in all areas, we must be. And so, beyond election matters is also the credibility of the nation and the seat of the presidency.
Tinubu submitted forged certificate to INEC. Records from CSU reveal major findings about Tinubu. It is now confirmed that Bola Ahmed Tinubu presented a forged certificate from Chicago State University to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The records released by the CSU to lawyers of Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, show that the certificate Tinubu is currently parading was not issued by Chicago State University. These are the major findings about Tinubu and his records released by the CSU. 1. Chicago State University's Office of the Registrar affirmed that Bola A. Tinubu attended the university from August 1977 through June 1979 and was awarded a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with honors on June 22, 1979. 2. The certificate that Tinubu submitted to INEC is inconsistent with the certificates CSU issued in 1979, indicating that Tinubu forged his. 3. The Southwest College transcript that Tinubu used to get admitted to Chicago State University belongs to a female. 4. Tinubu's Chicago State University admission letter dated August 23, 1977 was addressed to Mr. Tinubu, not Miss Tinubu. 5. The Bola A. Tinubu claimed to have attended Government College, Lagos, and presented a 1970 GCE A-level result with grades E in chemistry and biology and an F in physics, but Government College Lagos was only established in 1974. 6. Tinubu tells the world that he was born on March 29, 1952, but the birthday recorded in his CSU transcript says he was born on March 29, 1954. 7. Tinubu's last name was misspelled as THUBV in some of his CSU documents.
That a leader that is talking about increasing the value of Naira, that is talking about increasing the value of Naira, is spending dollars abroad, fighting a case that his certificate should not be released to the world. Have you ever seen that? Somebody is accusing you of wrongdoing, and your certificate would have been a vindication of yourself. And rather than encouraging people to go and see my certificate, to know that I am honest, to know that I come in my integrity, in the innocence of my hands and integrity of my heart, you are spending the dollars which you are telling us to conserve to buy lawyers, going on appeal to stop your certificate from being shown. Meanwhile, certificate should be a document that satisfies you, that certifies you fit in character, that ought to make you an honorable man. And you're fighting with our scarce resources in dollars that the world would not see it. And you know what? Just like every other thing dishonest leaders do, his fight was a waste of resources and manpower. The world will soon see to know whether they can even know the person that is their leader. Because we don't know the origin, we don't know the academic qualification, we don't know the gender, we don't know anything about this at 63. But these leaders and their crop of leaders have made Nigeria an international embarrassment.
Finally, Chicago State University disowned Tinubu's certificate is submitted to INEC. Officials of the Chicago State University during disposition under oath disowned the certificate Bola Tinubu presented to INEC to contest the 2023 presidential election. The officials denied the stamp and other items on the certificate and said they do not know where he got the certificate from. This is Bod TV Bod. In case the first time you come here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more uploads.